It's that spooky time of year. What is freaking guys? Freaking Man here, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Memorable Saturdays. It's nearing Halloween, so it's horror movie time. So let's begin. Without further ado, Nightmare on Elm Street. So this movie is pretty good. Actually, I'd say it's really good. It's awesome. It's probably my favorite horror movie, although I've only seen 2 of those. In fact, it was the first horror movie I've ever seen, and I just saw it a few weeks ago. Now, to be honest, this movie doesn't have many, jump scares, and it's much more bloody than scary. Without further ado, let's get started with my review of Nightmare on Elm Street. So we started out with this kid, Tina, who's basically being chased by Freddy Krueger in an area that looks like some type of storage unit. But it ends up being a dream, but she wakes up with, her nightgown all clawed, and basically the next day she's telling all her friends about it. Nancy, Rod, and Glenn. And basically they're all like, well, that's silly, it's just a nightmare. Later they're all hanging out, and Nancy says, that reminds me of the dream I had. And she said she had the same thing, this guy with long claws, and they're just messing around, their slumber party and stuff, but they start hearing noises. So they go out, they look, all good, right? So Tina and Rod are in bed together. This being a teenage movie, I think we all know what's happening. But anyway, they're in bed together, and then mysteriously, Tina is just pulled up into the air. Her arms start coming off. Bloody stuff happens. And Rod is just, absolutely freaking out, right? Considering that it was just Rod and Tina in the room, Rod gets arrested because he was kind of the most likely suspect. I mean, I would say that the cops are jerks in this movie, but to be honest, I get where they're coming from now. So after this whole disaster happens, basically Nancy's back at school, and she gets attacked by Freddy Krueger yet again, and still doesn't know who he is. So Nancy and Glenn are doing all this investigating, right? And Nancy is spying in on Rod in jail or prison. I get probably prison if he murdered someone, and I know he didn't do it, but they all thought he was a murder. And basically, he was asleep. And then we know it was Freddy Krueger. We know it was Freddy Krueger was happening because his tie started coming around him or something he was wearing. And it had him choked up and it was hanging him, and he noticed what was happening. And the cops came in and saw it. They didn't speak much of it, but they were just like, what the heck is going on? And so we start to notice the whole catch is that he gets you when you're falling asleep. And so they're like, we need to stay awake. So they just, stay awake. And if I had to stay awake, I'd probably just be running around, stabbing myself in the face, eating sugar, if that even helps that much. But anyway, so Nancy and Glenn are doing all this investigating, going outside and stuff, right? And then Glenn is just, laying there in bed, chilling out. So he starts falling asleep. Kabam! Freddy pulls him in through the bed, and this is one of the most bloody scenes now. You might just see the beginning of it, and well, I didn't see much blood. Why would you say that? Well, after that, he gets pulled into the bed, and then this giant, blood is spewing out of the spot he got pulled in through the bed. And basically, Nancy notices what happened, and things kind of progress with her investigating. And her dad gets in on the whole thing, and all the cops. And the thing is, Nancy is locked in her house because of her mom trying to keep her safe. And Nancy learns that Freddy Krueger is actually somebody that was a real person once, a murderer that was killing children, and parents tracked him down and burned him. So now he's supposedly coming back. Basically, Nancy was locked away, and basically there's this end scene where there's this, Nancy's kind of trying to fight Freddy Krueger, and basically what happens is that, like, I feel like I remember, like, her pouring water on him and basically attacking him, and then she's setting him on fire, and eventually, beating him up or whatever well enough to the point where Nancy's running away, then he just fades into the ground. And after that, Nancy walks out of the door, and then it's just like, wow, everything's bright and sunny again. Looks like it was all a dream. And then her mom's there, and Nancy's going to school with her friends are all alive. Glenn's alive, Rod's alive, Tina's alive. So off she goes on her merry way to the car. And basically what happens from there is that they sitting there, and then I guess it's a convertible, and the top kind of falls onto them, and they just all chuckle about that, like, whoa, what happened? And then the doors close, the windows close, and everything, like, locks up on them. And they're going for a drive, and they're like, no, help. But the mom just thinks they're just going for a drive. She doesn't notice, and she's just standing there smiling. Until Freddy's hand crashes through the window beside her, grabs her, and it's over. That was my review of Nightmare on Elm Street. I hope you enjoyed. I will have a video where you can watch the actual movie in the description. And I know this was a little short, but I feel like this was actually the best I can do, just considering it's been a couple weeks since I watched the movie. But yeah, I hope you enjoy that, and I hope you also enjoy the movie as much as I do if you watch it. And I totally recommend it, only if you like horror movies and if that won't, like, totally scare you. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, smack that subscribe button, and give this video a thumbs up, and also give that bell a ring. And if you did not like this video, slap that subscribe button, and just, like, double thumbs up this video, and ring that bell even louder. Subscribe, like, and stay remembering.